Everybody, we must be one. Everybody, we must be one.
Hello, I'm Michaela, and you're listening to part 2 of The One and Only. As always, you can find us on YouTube under the Hughes Roundtable. Be sure to subscribe and click videos to listen to previous episodes. Thank you so much for listening. Stop adding to the problem. Like, don't make it any worse than it is, which is, I think, something we all do. And that's another thing that I think is important to understand, is that you're not alone. Like, and I told Mom this the other day. I've dealt with depression. Anxiety, fear. Those are the things you can't touch, the things you can't just shut off. Sometimes you can't shut your head off, your mind off. But I've dealt with those things, and I've dealt with feeling isolated. And most of the things, not to be insensitive, they're lies. And sometimes you just have to ask yourself, what proof do I have that this idea and this conclusion I'm drawing of this situation, what proof do I have that this is the truth? And if it's not truth, throw away the idea. Just don't, maybe stop entertaining ideas so much.
That's the word.
Right.
And
Don't
that you have to practice just having a good mindset, and it takes time, because I'm still throwing away some things that I know I need to just get out of my system, because the way you think affects everything. It affects your relationships. It affects your job, your career, who you believe you are. It's like the center.
And do you know
everything.
who you are?
Yeah.
Because you're putting who you are, that you know who you are. Hopefully you know who you are. And you're putting that up against assumption and criticism.
Yeah, and
where is that coming
escapable.
from? The internet.
The internet.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Assumptions and that could tear that head clean up.
Yeah, but it's not. You can't escape that, because if I wasn't living in the time I was living in, where I have to manage the things I look at and the information I'm interested in, and internet and media and all of that, if I was living in a different time where I was exposed to more human interaction and just going out and getting out of the house, if that was more common, I would still have to deal with my mind and assuming things.
And you would have to deal with assumption and criticism.
Yeah, you have to. So it's not something that would change. You just have to be willing to face it head on. Please face it head on. Don't
and get
not
mentally
do it.
strong.
Yeah.
You have to know that it's going to be out there, and you know, as y'all's age group, please get mentally strong and know that it's a momentary affliction. Assumptions and criticisms, everybody got them.
Yeah.
That's not you.
And every moment's temporary.
It is.
The thoughts I have, thoughts just fly by your head, and then you're thinking about something.
And you're not the only one.
Everybody so it's like that's how temporary, your feelings and all those things are. And and I told Mom this the other day. We're new. Like, I still feel very new to this world. I just got here.
You
like,
are.
like I'm not, like
so
I'm.
Am I.
Yeah, like yeah, and like I believe it goes back to that idea, like that understanding of, you don't arrive to a point. It's kind of just you're there, then you're there. Like you just keep. You're supposed to it's supposed to be a journey. You're supposed to keep going. So you can't really take just one giant step in your head and be like, this is this, and I have no reason to look any further or have hope for anything else because I understand this now. Like you have to keep going because everything's temporary. So
that was your release. So how do you shut that down?
Shut down.
Just how do you tell your mind to shut up?
literally that. I learned that from church. I learned that from you. Like, I learned that
Shut it
so many
down.
experience I've had. Literally all of my friends have been through
Mm.
similar things, and I don't know why. It may just be because we're uneducated when it comes to mental health. It also, for me, it's the fact that my mind is not a person that I could really just choke out.
Right.
It's not tangible.
Right.
So I have to live with this guy up here. Like, I have to live with my mind. So let's make it a good place and understand that, you know, my mind doesn't have to work unlike, you know, it doesn't have to be, there's not some different principle for your head compared to like turning a stove off, or
No.
if you make it that simple, it can be that simple. Like,
You can.
you know, and then sometimes, you know, people have things in their bloodline, and,
Right,
you know,
right.
people have traumatic experiences, you know, that they've dealt with where it isn't that hard. And for that, I say go get help. I'm not ashamed to say that I've been to counseling. And sometimes, again, I feel like, you know, I don't need any emotional or support. I don't want your compassion. You just, most people feel this way when you're going through stuff, or you want answers for your situation. You just want it to be answered. You don't want, you know, oh, I feel sorry for you, and, you know, let me just sit with you in your pain. Sometimes you don't want empathy, but it helps and it heals in a way that I think is beyond us sometimes. Speaking things out and just talking to someone and just really getting out what's in your head can be, it can really help. So don't, you know, if you can, take advantage of that option as well. But in the meantime, if you want your mind to shut up, you have to believe that you have the power to shut it up. And it literally is like turning on a light.
Because there's some complexities there. Let's go through the role of what you are. You're an only child.
Yeah.
You're a female.
Yeah.
You're a left-handed, left-brained person who thinks a lot.
Yeah.
Who may get headaches. And we've dealt with that. Like I used to. Remember I told you I got them.
Yeah.
And the caveat here is you're a creative person.
Yeah.
So you throw all of that in.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God you got being able to sleep from your mother and that side of the family. Because if you was like your father who doesn't sleep a lot.
And college will teach you quickly that, you know what, I'ma just not even try to think today. Just go to class and do what I have to do, go to this meeting real quick, and don't, whatever your head say, just think it's a lie today because you're tired. So you're not even thinking straight. But yeah, it's a lot going on. And I will say, as far as another outlet is purpose. Dad had sent me, we listen to T.D. Jakes all the time in our house, and he sent me an episode about T.D. Jakes, who I look up to, oh my gosh, with all my heart. And, you know, sometimes the people you look up to are the people who are there where you want to be. You think they just, I don't know, we all act like they just don't face, you know, any obstacles, or they're just, you know, they don't have any, you know, they don't deal with the things we deal with. And he was speaking on dealing with, you know, media and how they were talking about him. And he kind of sounded like he just was unappreciated, like, you know, how dare they talk about me that way, you know, feeling disrespected, you know, because here he is doing a good thing, and, you know, people are throwing his name in the mud for ratings, and you know, because that's what media does. And he's been through that, I'm sure, millions of times since then. But what kept him was his purpose and understanding that he should be serving people and keeping that in mind, along with other things. But that was just the main point of that episode. But and I tell my friends who are in similar situations now, we all need a plan.
Yeah.
And for we in our household, we believe a man without vision will perish. And that stands for every person. And I've seen it. And we don't just need a plan. You have to stick to it, and you have to be consistent and maintain, and you have to journal, or you have to. I paint some. I haven't painted in a while, but I paint every once in a while. You have to, do things that will help you keep your mind active. You're meant to be active. So,
because
purpose
it's not good
is
for you to be by yourself.
No.
Since you ain't got no kids.
Purpose is it's
Children,
the reason. Purpose is the reason. Purpose is the reason you're here, because you have a purpose.
Yeah.
And you're here, as crazy as it sounds, you're here for someone else. Like, someone else needs what you have.
And please talk to your mother and father. Find out everything you can about their personality. You might not think it doesn't help you now, but if you got an open mother and father, they can tell you about your health issues, hereditary issues from their mother and father, and hopefully their grandmother and father. Please, please talk as best you can now to your mother and your father. If you can find either one of them, it will open up the door to who and what you are. They did have you. They came together.
They know.
And they did have you.
It will help a lot, because you'll see exactly where some things.
Why you think the way you are. Why are you the way you are. Where are you going?
How you going to put the pieces together.
Yeah,
they'll put it all
It'll
together
help put the pieces
until
together.
you catch it and run it out yourself till you can be self-sustaining. They could tell you about being mentally strong. Now it's going to be up to you to do it. Because they're not going to do it, and they're not going to do it, and they can't do it, and they can't do it.
No.
That's just the bottom line.
They can't do it, and they can't do it.
They can't do it, and they can't do it for you. They're not going to live this life for you. Matter of fact, after a certain age, they just ain't going to do nothing for you. They ain't. You're going to have to start taking care of yourself. You're going to grow, and you're going to mature. And hopefully you got parents that won't stand in the way of that. Because they won't be clingy and needy and all of that, because every single individual has a purpose.
Everyone.
You were born here for something.
Yes.
And it is entirely up to you to figure it out.
Please do. We need you. We need people with purpose. Makes the world go round.
So that's what we've come to that conclusion. Your mother stood up there and did what she did. You come into this world.
Yeah.
And she didn't. And she didn't have no more children. You got a pink daggone teddy bear when you
Pinky.
was down at OSU Hospital,
That's
Columbus,
a keepsake.
Ohio.
I'm keeping that bear forever. So.
You got it.
Oh well. I'm keeping that bear forever.
I cried when you was born. I got jumped on by the nurses and the doctors.
For what? What did you do?
Because, they look at you like, well, they do. They bring children into this world every day.
Well, well.
They look at males like, what are you crying for? But if they only knew.
Yeah, thank you for crying, Dad.
The whole
and not caring about what the
so
nurses
when you
said.
came out, I held you, and that was that. And I had to learn, just like Nina had to learn, about how a father should raise a daughter, since she wasn't a male.
Yeah.
And if you were a male, I would have had to do the same thing too. But it's different.
It's all a learning process for both the parents and the child. I believe even if you have more than one, because the characteristics of the children are different.
Yeah.
Since I come from 5 and you come from 4, the children are different. So, we only had one shot, because if we had other children, or if you had been maybe the second or the third, there would have been things that we could have said, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And you learn more, hopefully, as you go. But we didn't have that opportunity. We had to do what we thought that was right for you, the household, what was going to work for us as parents, for you as a child. And that's what we had to go with. You don't have the opportunity to keep doing over and over and over again And if you really love the child as we love you, you want to make it where it is an environment where they're going to be able to succeed in whatever it is that they need to do. So that mental health, dealing with my mother who had Alzheimer's, had her mother had Alzheimer's, and she also had 2 siblings that had Alzheimer's. So that's something to consider about the mind, or they say dementia. But that's something to consider about the mind and how you use it, what you use it for. Because the age where we're putting everything in the telephone, like I can recall remembering phone numbers off the top of my head, and my father could do that. But now, because we're putting everything in the phone, if an emergency was to happen and you were not able to get to your phone, or real old school, not only remembering it, but writing it down, having a phone. I still have a phone book. Not the phone book on the computer, on the phone book, but I have an actual tangible phone book. But what happens when you don't have access to be able to do that? So we're not really using our minds like we used to do in so many different ways. But we're entertaining it through what we're looking at, but are we absorbing and maintaining information that is good for us? Because
that's their adaptation. You're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to adapt, because these phones ain't going nowhere. These people are literally trying to become computers. They are putting stuff in their skin. So y'all, as 23-year-olds, 20, 21, 20, 18, 19, y'all got to be able to filter that and still look at the positive and use it to your advantage. You're going to have to filter.
And there's a lot of positive out there still.
You're going to have to use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to sometimes put it down. Yeah. You're going to have to look at the world, get your face out of that phone, computer, PC, tablet, whatever. Get it out of there and touch something that you can touch that is real. So you won't be in la-la land all the time, every day, 24/7. That's because we believe that is a part of having bad mental health.
Yeah.
Because you can't see. You cannot be blind.
Yeah.
And blind meaning mentally. You can't see what the what is. What the what? You got to be able to see what the what is. And if you are stuck there, you can't see here, because a lot of what's on the internet is somebody else's of what the what is. So now you've missed out on life experiences.
Yeah.
And you, Michaela, have experienced a lot. Traveling.
Yeah.
You've been to Costa Rica, Florida, Georgia, DC, California, Philly,
Virginia,
all around the United States. So, do you feel that you were exposed to enough light and have enough light in you to go out here into a dark world and maintain?
There are specific things that have happened in my life where, not even when I'm feeling low, like on a normal day, I'll just be like, I want to feel like that again. And I want to do better things so that I can feel the way I felt when I was there. There are specific times that I felt like the presence of God, and I was like, what can I do so that I always feel like that? Or that I'm that sure of everything, that I know, like I did when I was there. And if I didn't have any more positive experiences, if I just had that one experience, I would know enough to be positive for the rest of my life, because I've never felt so whole ever.
Do we have grasp? Can we grasp that it's not a feeling?
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
'cause I had to tell myself the other day, don't be thinking like that. Don't be feeling like that, because you know the presence of the Lord is not a feeling. It is
Yeah.
we and you know when you're in the presence of the Lord.
Mhm. The way I look at it,
Not at the top now. Don't get me wrong.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
Not
Oh.
off the top. It eventually does come into your spirit and become that
Yeah.
Mhm.
throughout your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling it the other day
Mhm.
until I kept speaking it
Mhm.
forth.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that we know, but I think that because we know, it seeps into our feelings, or vice versa.
There it is.
The
right
first
there.
thing,
Yeah.
that first thing that hits you, like I cry every Sunday.
Mhm.
I can't remember the
You
last
about
time I
ready to
haven't.
cry right now.
No, I'm not.
Come forth.
No, no, no. I do cry every Sunday.
That's a good thing though.
But my point is
So
that
do me and your mother.
Yeah.
You know we
Yeah.
cry babies anyway.
Mhm.
it's just, I feel like that's just in our world, that is how you respond to something. That's how you know something, is when your emotions respond. The knowing that stays is more of the action. That's more of the work that's being done in you.
Yes.
So I'm trying to put this into words,
That's
but
a good word. You're doing good.
Mhm.
your feelings are so temporary, and sometimes it's like, can I believe them right now? And sometimes they're just not there. They're not with you. They're just a little off. But feelings, I think we respond with emotion first sometimes, some of us. But when we know something, that's our action. Our the wisdom, and when it seeps into your understanding and it changes your life, and that becomes how you live. That's the principle you live by. That's when you know that
Right.
you know, when you can see it, when you have fruit. I
Because
guess
the world
it's a good
ain't.
way.
It's gonna have to be an individual thing.
Yeah.
Really is. And I
Yeah.
think if more people grasp that, then they can walk through walls
Yeah.
and climb mountains. Because if you are expecting the world to give you that and somebody to make you happy, you'll be expecting
It's
it all the time.
There's
Because it's
so
not gonna
much
happen.
It'll be a
hypocrisy
letdown all
in
the time.
All the
yeah.
time.
There's so much hypocrisy in the way we think, because why would you think someone else would do something you don't do for yourself?
Because subliminally they've told them that. Because, they've told them that you're supposed to feel this way. Everything is a brainwashing thing.
Yeah. If you don't spend any time with yourself, or try to, if the only idea of emotions or what you should believe in, if your worldview is shaped by what anyone else told you, you're doing it wrong. You have to spend time with yourself. You won't know what happiness is to you until you sit in happiness.
Right.
And you identify what this feels like for you.
Yeah.
The way you feel happy, or the way mom feels happy, may not be the way I feel happy.
That's
Or the way we all emotion different. We all think different. So, I think we're all mirrors for each other. We're all reflections for each other. And we can mimic all we want. But until you
That's good.
you sit in things and you experience them for yourself, they're not true,
'Cause them dark places is coming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you really want to know what, and it's hard for some people to go here, but I'm going. Because we want to be free.
Yeah.
You really want to know what would make somebody commit suicide.
Mhm.
Now, we know that we haven't. We haven't committed suicide. But I think and I believe that all three of us have been to one of the most darkest places ever,
Yeah.
Mhm.
according to us as individuals.
Mhm.
So we want to come and combat the suicide issue, because I believe that if you blind in that instance, you don't know how to get back there. Because every day and week, you're dealing with human beings that are already there. You got
Yeah.
to have that spot you got to get back to. Because me and your mother are dealing with stuff now that we got to always be making adjustments. Because you can easily go there. The higher you ascend, the harder you going to fall. It's always like that. Like now, this is a beautiful time. We off for 2 days. Thank you, Jesus.
Hallelujah.
It's Christmas time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But, we got to go back to work. Now, you get a little bit depressed come Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't know about your mama, but I do. I do know about your mama. You do. But so you want to know, you want to be able, if you're going to be like Jesus, you want to be able to touch human beings. You want to be able to touch mankind.
Hello, it's Michaela again. If you're listening, that means you finished part 2 of the one and only. Remember to keep hope in God, keep hope in yourself, and ask for help whenever you need it. Remember to subscribe to the Hughes Roundtable and be sure to check out part 3 of the one and only. Thank you again for your support.
Everybody, we must be one. Everybody, we must be one.